Hey, we're in the seed tree harvest here on Schenck Forest. This is stand 5, and this is called a seed tree harvest because it received a seed tree regeneration harvest in 2002 after an ice storm. So in 2002, most of the overstory was removed, leaving only a few trees per acre, and the role of those trees was to produce seeds that would regenerate the seedlings for the next rotation of trees. Now, 18 years later, you can see the result of that harvest in 2002. You can see over here, and if you look up, one of those residual seed trees, a large diameter, tall tree. You can see some of these larger diameter trees around in the distance. Those were the seed trees that were left. Oftentimes with a seed tree harvest, the manager may come back in and remove that overstory, but in this case, those seed trees were left, so now we have a 2-age stand. We have one age class in the overstory, those few residual seed trees, and then the other age class are all these smaller diameter loblolly pines and red maples and sweet gums that came up after the harvest in 2002. One issue you often have with this form of natural regeneration is you get really high stem density, so you get a lot of regeneration, and with that, you all should know with the high stem density, you get lots of competition and you get rapid shading. So this stand has had at least one, maybe two pre-commercial thins over the years to try to reduce the stem density, increase growth of the regeneration, and to get more light. But it's still, you can see it's very dense in here. Because of all the shading effects, you can see that there's no understory. And all we have is this dense leaf litter layer. And this leaf litter layer, with the lack of understory, the lack of woody structure near the ground, the lack of grasses and forbs is because of the heavy shade, and also because this dense leaf litter layer prevents germination of herbaceous plants. So to resolve this, we would need to thin the forest or do some sort of harvest to let more light in, and then we could use prescribed burning to consume that litter layer to prepare the seed bed for germination of desirable grasses and forbs. Now this stand lacks an understory, heavy shade, very little food and cover for ground-dwelling wildlife or understory wildlife, and then compare that to stands 3 or stand 1, where you have more understory and you have better resources for those understory species. This might be a stand where you say this is where quail go to die because there's just no food and cover here. Overall, there's very little species diversity. Although there's a lot of structure in the mid-story and the canopy, there's just not a lot of resources for many wildlife, so you would expect low wildlife diversity overall in the stand. There will be some animals that benefit. Ovenbirds will use this stand, and you may see great crested flycatchers there. They're fairly adaptable and ubiquitous, so they're in this stand. Pine warblers in the overstory, maybe brown-headed nuthatches in the overstory, and then maybe deer may bed in here during the hot part of the day for shade. So this is stand 5. Seed tree harvest.